It's not true. Last session, I made a massive rookie mistake. I forgot to activate the sound and the microphone. So, what I'm going to do to try and salvage a little bit of footage and bring you all up to speed with what happened is I'm going to do a chat with you. I will run the video in the background, the recording, and I will explain what had happened at what point and do my best to at least make it somewhat easy to follow. I guarantee you I'm going to miss things, and it's a real shame. But yeah, I will do the best I possibly can, and I hope it works out. So, bear with me, and we'll see what we get done. Something else I forgot to mention was the fact that Marky and Sandy weren't there for this session. So, Nikki was taking control of Thargash, and Scotty was playing Alexia as well. I don't know if this had an effect on, how we ended up in the position we did, but it's happened now, so we'll take it from there. See what happens. It's definitely far from game over, but don't know what's going to happen next. Alright, to the rest of the story. Alright, so I introduce everything. Well, at least Jason introduces everything. What had happened previously in the previous session was we worked our way through the castle. Throwing Bear had a kind of traumatic event. His bear companion had died, and we were trying to... we failed to save him. But yeah, we decided that we were going to clear out the rest of the castle, rest of Cragmore Castle, and then once that had been completed, we were going to take Bear, who was transformed into an owlbear, out into the woods to bury Bear. We mostly just, at this point, we did a bit of talking backwards and forwards and just rehashed a little bit of what was going on. We might skip forward a little bit, see where we go. Alright, what was happening here was I rolled a perception check to see if I noticed something in the fire, in the brazier, of which I did. I noticed a red folded bit of cloth in the ashes, and I pulled it out and had a look at it. And what I found in there was a golden statuette of an elf person. Can't remember if it was male or female. Doesn't really matter. But found a statuette that looked like an elf. It was worth, decent bit of gold. And with that, a throwing bear is not looking to gain wealth. He handed it to Phelan, and Phelan did bring up the fact that throwing bear was after gold, and he relayed that the gold that he was after was indeed to save his bear companion from... He didn't go into the details. He just said it was to save his bear companion and bring his bear companion back. A little bit unfortunate. Then the party, Throwing Bear asked what was up in the other room because he was unconscious at the time. At the moment, he has a gaping wound in his abdomen from being knocked unconscious from the Grick in the previous session. Yeah, there we go. So it was a gold statuette of a sun elf. That's what we'd found in the fire. It was a good find. Moving on a little bit. There's no point beating around too much. Yes. So, what was that ping for? Oh, that's right. That was something that happened. Yeah, so we move up into the into the we move into the altar room, and in the altar room, Alexia found on the altar a bloodied tablecloth, and on the bloodied tablecloth, they found a fairly ornate dagger, like a knife, sacrificial knife sort of thing. Found a censer, which is like one of those things that the priests carry around and they emit smoke and they're like, swinging the thing around. And there was something or other else, and I can't remember what that was for the life of me, which is really quite unfortunate. I'm terribly sorry about this. We then had, if I remember rightly, we had Phelan lock the door at the top, and Throwing Bear dragged the brazier down to the one at the bottom and kind of barricaded that. The party was kind of taking stock of their current position. This right here is Renny trying to work out what religion the original altar was for. And I believe we decided, or at least the DM agreed to it, that it was a temple of an altar to Lathander, the sun god. It seemed to make sense. He wasn't quite sure off the top of his head, so we kind of helped out there and moved on. But yeah, so we barricaded the doors, thinking that we were going to get some rest, because we were in pretty bad shape. There was a section here where Throwing Bear was trying to salvage the beak off the Grick, and had asked, I had asked Jason if the beak was big enough to go over a shoulder. Jason said, not big enough for that, but, I asked again if I could use it sort of maybe to cover an elbow. And he's like, yep. Fortunately, rolled a pretty bad survival check on account that Throwing Bear has disadvantage from being exhausted. Yeah, we were in a pretty bad spot and not functioning very well at all. So then we were talking through and we ended up taking our short rest. Throwing Bear filled in Gundren and Sildar about what Bear was, what the owlbear was, and by extension, that bear had meant a fair bit to Throwing Bear. Gundren had apologized again and sort of indicated that he meant no offense, and Throwing Bear the whole time was incredibly agitated. He was not in the best of headspaces. He's very angry and very worked up and very frustrated. Yeah, so we all got our short rest and that worked out well. That went quite well. Skipping further forward. Oh, yeah, so this one is something that I didn't want the rest of the players to know, but in Bear's lore and Throwing Bear's history, Bear was expecting a cub when things happened. So I was asking DM Jason if Bear was indeed expecting a cub when she died. He'd forgotten about that, so he's getting back to me at some point. We'll see what happens there. After the end of this session, you'll kind of see that maybe this might be a little bit trickier than expected, or at least less of a main concern, but we'll see what happens. So, moving forward. Okay, up here, Phelan was attempting to unlock the door, or lock the door. I can't remember which that would be. Rolled a 20 with her thieves' tools. Yeah. So, and then we had Thargash move up to kind of move into the room. Thargash moved in, Throwing Bear moved on up, and Throwing Bear was attempting to hear what was happening on the other door, on the other side of this door. Didn't really hear anything. So, got out of the way, Thargash moved in. Now when we got in here, we found the bedrolls, nothing overly interesting. Found a whole bunch of weapons on the wall, mostly great axes and great swords and some long swords and that sort of thing. We did find a very fine looking staff with engravings, like carvings of feathers in the staff, and it weighed less. Throwing Bear picked that up and, you know, pocketed that. Well, not pocketed, but decided to take that with him. And Phelan moved over to here, the bottom door to... Oh, actually, Phelan and Alexia started looking through the crates. Phelan ended up finding Sildar's equipment and also found some dwarven brandy. And the other thing that happened at this point was Throwing Bear was asking... Well, I was asking Jason whether or not, based on the amount of bedrolls that we'd seen, whether or not Throwing Bear could assume that we'd cleared the castle, or if there was likely more goblins. Jason pointed out that that's a little bit tricky to say, on account that it doesn't look like there was enough bedrolls for the amount of goblins on their own, let alone the hobgoblins and the other denizens of Cragmore Castle. We moved on. And where did we get to? So this took a little bit. Oh, we were trying to do the math as to how heavy a cask of Dwarven brandy would be. At some point during this, I got up and raced on out to do... to check an alcohol bottle that I had in the cupboard. We kind of worked out that it should be roughly about 20 pounds. Jason ruled that it was about 30 pounds. That was fine. We managed to get around that. Now, as we continued on, Phelan opened up the door and Phelan ended up facing another hobgoblin. 2, 3 hobgoblins. And there was some exchange that happened. Basically, hobgoblins started talking to us, and Throwing Bear wasn't in a particularly good frame of mind to talk back with them. And after a couple of brief exchanges, Throwing Bear whispered to Phelan that Phelan should move out of the way, and we'll close the door and we'll wait for them to come to us. So that's what happened. And then the hobgoblins spoke up and basically called us on our plan. Said that we're not that stupid, yada yada yada, and they were going to come for us anyway. So then Throwing Bear had stuck his head around, and I can't remember what was said, but I'm pretty sure he implied that the hobgoblins were stupid. He believed that they were stupid, and that yeah, something or other happened. I actually can't remember, and I'm terribly sorry about that. But yeah, initiative was rolled, and the hobgoblins started moving around to come in from the other side as well. We blocked off the doors as best as we could, and there was a pretty tough fight because these hobgoblins were all wearing chainmail and had shields, so they were pretty difficult to hit, or at least land a solid blow. And it didn't help that Throwing Bear was at disadvantage for all of his skill checks because of that level 1 exhaustion. So, as we went through, Thargash took a bit of a beating. Um, we worked backwards and forwards trying to prevent um, everyone from dying. We managed to kill the first hobgoblin in the room. And then at that, Thargash fell. And then we managed. Thargash managed to. Oh, no, actually, I believe it was Renny that managed to get the landing hit, the last hit on another hobgoblin. Um, oh, no, I think we killed three. Yeah, so yeah, that left. I think two or three left. Oh, left. I think two or three left. And it was shortly thereafter that I managed to realize, with the help of one of the viewers, that the sound was off. So with that, we ended up with the sound back on, and we continued on as normal. And I am really sorry about that. I shall endeavour not to have one of them happen again. But from this point on, we'll leave it back to where we were. Yeah, many apologies.
Please.
Oh dear, I just realised the whole thing, I didn't have any sound. Oh. Oh dear, I'm so sorry, people. My mistake. Yeah, so...
Oh, what? You didn't have any
Yeah,
sound?
didn't have any sound playing through. Didn't have a microphone or speaker. So no one has any idea on what was happening.
Oh,
Spewing.
what? Why didn't no one mention that?
It was just mentioned then. Sorry,
That's
Richard
how we-
McSunday. Rookie mistake.
Well, that sucks.
Well.
Yeah.
The mistake twice.
That just means that
Yeah, the
the
entire
last
session
hour-
is just...
Hold on,
the whole thing can't go on YouTube.
yeah, that just means that we need to go and redo the whole thing again, doesn't it?
No.
Yeah, let's start again.
I'm pretty sure that just means we have to retcon the whole session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Fine.
Yeah, if, because you guys couldn't hear, everyone's pretty much fucked at this point.
yeah, we're in an incredibly bad spot.
At the end, they were asked to surrender. Thornback said, we'll talk. At the reply, the Hobgoblin said, you either surrender or die, with a massive grin on his face. Insisting that they talk, he told his men to continue attacking. That's where we're currently at now.
Looking back and seeing, actually, looking back and not having heard anything from Thargash in a little while, and seeing Renny on the floor, Throwing Bear lowers his spear and says, this is hard, says, let us heal our friends, and I'll surrender.
Alexia.
The rest of the Hobgoblins look further to the leader guidances. All of you start dropping your weapons now.
Alexia doesn't want to. You can see she's furious.
Even with Thargash down, but
I'll say she can clearly see that Togash is about to bleed out. If he should, okay.
alright, well Phelan drops her weapons.
Throwing Bear immediately drops his spear, turns around and heads over to Thargash, limping the whole way, and just looks at this bugbear.
Hobgoblin.
Yeah, sorry.
He doesn't let you through at the moment. Like, it's still waiting on wanting you to drop your weapons. He's got a grin on his face.
Yeah. Alexia. Does Alexia even have a weapon?
Oh yeah. No, she doesn't. Yeah.
So okay,
She
yes.
hasn't pulled
so
it out,
she-
so
Yeah, she's not armed. She will cast if won't let Throwing Bear pass. She's going to cast a healing word, so it can be used at a distance.
I actually got that prepared. Yeah, she can see
Yep.
Sagash.
Well, I don't know. The red dot means prepared, right?
Actually, when it comes to the feelings, I should actually probably do that. But then again, I don't really pay attention to Alexia and Sagash's.
Rude.
Yes, it's prepared. So I'll
Yeah, just roll.
She's out of point. So it's 3 health for him, and would like to Go
Sagash's on
up.
50 points.
would like to go up and use the healer's kit on Renny. So I don't really know how healer's kit works.
Throwing Bear does. He's assisting.
Yeah, so just roll advantage. And what's
So
it?
what,
Does they have
medicine?
medicine as a feat?
No, not proficient.
She's not proficient and she has a healing kit.
Yeah.
Doesn't really make sense.
If she doesn't have a healing, if she's not proficient, Throwing Bear would like see that pretty quickly, and I'm pretty sure he'd take the lead.
Yeah. So yeah, have Throwing Bear roll it normal the medicine check. Stabilize ready. Yep, that's exactly what you needed.
+5.
Alright, so roll d4 to do when Renny wakes up. So Gashi's wondering what the hell's going on as he goes to grab his axe. Does anyone stop him? Or-
Throwing Bear yells at him to stay his hand. Like,
Yeah. He's a bit confused, but he listens. Alright. I want you all to lay down your floor. You're able to heal your friends now. And get on the floor.
I
Start
feel
tying
like
them up.
Thargash would be like, what is going on?
yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's asking what's going on, I guess, as well.
So, Throwing Bear sort of steps out of the way to, well, actually, he'd be over here. And with that,
You guys start getting tied up, and
except Throwing Bear's invisible. He wiggled his
invisible in front of
his ears, and he turned invisible.
okay, you are invisible. How long does that last?
It lasts up to 1 hour.
Okay. What do you do? Oi, boss! One of them disappeared. Alright, grab onto them by the throat. Phelan, one of them goes to grab you.
No.
Roll acrobatics or strength to avoid it if you don't let it.
Give me a sec. There we go.
Unfortunately, you are grappled.
Yeah,
as is
I rolled a 10.
goblin. Yeah, he rolled a 12, so you were close.
Yeah, I'm was reading it out.
Grabs you, and then he puts a knife to your throat. The boss says, if you don't reveal yourself right now, I'm gonna cut your friend's throat right open. Now, where are you?
Throwing Bear, stay hidden.
You got the count to 5.
Throwing Bear, stay hidden. Go to Bear.
Well, Throwing Bear doesn't have a way of getting to Bear.
Yeah, or so kind of blocked at
Yeah,
the
but
moment.
they don't know that. Jeez.
Yeah, no. I was thinking out loud.
For all they know, you've teleported somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you're saying?
Throwing Bearer just sort of like sigh, and then he would
Stays hidden.
actually he would tie his hands up with his own bit of rope, and then appear, already bound.
Boss, he revealed himself. Alright. Start tying these idiots up. Make another attempt like that, you're dead.
Yeah, so I'd like to think that he's at least looks well bound, but
Yeah.
Loose
Wait,
bondage.
why are you
Yeah.
already bound?
Throwing Bear just says, "I surrendered. I figured I'd save you some effort."
Well, unfortunately, hobgoblins aren't that stupid as he goes to check your freaking things. Actually, run me performance to see what you tied it up to make it look you tied it up tight and shit.
Performance.
Throwing Bear, why did you reveal yourself? I told you to stay.
It's a shame.
Yeah. It seems like my dice is not rolling like below a 10.
I rolled a 9.
He rolled a 14.
Yeah.
You can clearly tell that you have, this was done bad, made it so you can get out of it easily. Like, haha, that was a very smart idea.
What do you want me to do? It's hard to tie yourself up.
Sure, as he starts tying you up properly. I guess does everyone let this happen?
Thargash wouldn't, that's for sure.
I am currently unconscious, so I can't do shit.
No, you were. Oh yeah.
Yeah, still unconscious.
I'm unconscious for an hour.
Yep.
Give me a sec, just rolling to Thargash.
I think I'm just gonna end it here because it is 10 now, and pretty sure they would want to be here for this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But essentially, you guys.
Would
Yeah,
fail.
essentially, I'm gonna have to think up something for this because I wasn't really expecting this.
You get that.
How did Thargash go down so quickly? I wasn't paying much attention.
They hit. They all have hobgoblins have a special thing because whenever when they hit for the first time with a weapon attack, and if that creature is within 5 feet,
They get a bonus.
of an ally hobgoblin that incapacitated. So
Did
the rest was one
Thargash
of them.
not have a rage?
No.
No.
No, he had no more rage left. No.
Lovely.
Yep.
So
That's
he
why
went
I was
down.
so stressed when I realized that he was going down. And then I failed 2 death saves.
Oh, fuck. Goblin. Said if, not of. Ugh, filling mistakes on freaking character sheets on 20. So, one of them I stuffed up. But the rest of them were, I did right. Where they get an extra 2d6, on the first weapon attack. I'll take it that once per turn. Yeah, hobgoblins.
Yeah, man, that AC was brutal. We just couldn't hit because they had 18 AC.
Yeah. Guess I could have made have some of them have just two-handing swords. Probably should have done that.
That's fine. It is what it is.
At least I
I'd
didn't
prefer to
fail
have
that.
situations like this where you do get fucked up anyway.
Um,
Just blowing
Yeah,
through
it's
every.
more the fact you guys spent like
combat
2
session.
hours here, and there's meant to be a returning war party. which is optional for the DM to put in. You guys had 2 short rests here, and
Yeah, no, that's fun. It is what it is.
yeah, it's just more the fact you guys kept spending time here that the war party. I just thought to myself, well, you guys spent so much time here, they would return by now.
Just before we finish, did throwing bear pass that strength save
For what?
to see if he got bound?
He's not being grappled or anything, so. there's
Yeah,
no
You,
no.
check.
yeah, you said, is everyone letting it happen? And I said Targash wouldn't.
Yeah, but he's if he doesn't let him, he's just gonna get cut down. That's the gist of it right now. So if you don't have your hands behind your back at this point, they're gonna pull out a sword and say, "Oi, surrender!" And yeah, but we'll get back to that afterwards.
Yeah, well, I think this is a pretty good place that we end the stream, and I'm terribly sorry that I didn't have the sound running for the entire 3/4 of the thing. That was ridiculous screw up on my behalf.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm gonna do there. I might just have to come up with a me in the corner or something like that goes over the details or something. I'll have to think of something. But anyway, that's the end of tonight's session. I think as it sits at the moment, we're not quite sure when the next one of this session is going to continue because we've got some time scheduling issues that we've got to work out. But
Again.
yeah, unfortunately. If you haven't checked it out already, we have released a announcement video that's on our YouTube page, which is G3 Gaming. Please check that out. That explains a lot of what's going on at the moment. For anything else, please follow the Questionable Boner Facebook page. And obviously, Twitch is currently still a Questionable Boner, but that's going to be changed over before next Friday. So, yep, Nikki's posted that video up, the announcement video. So,
And just a heads up, the day it's looking like we'll possibly be going ahead for the game could be a Tuesday afternoon, but we're still deciding that.
yeah, so we'll announce that once we know for sure through the Questionable Boner Facebook page. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed it, even though I did mess up, and I hope to see you next session. Catch you all later.